been preparing for this, and it does look like Mindfreak are going to run out on the 3 DPS composition. Kind of expected, but we'll have to see how Order adapts to it. They are running out on the Moira to start off with, so they have kind of read it a little bit. Signed on that Sombra though, we saw that last week. We saw him and Adam playing it, and it wasn't too impressive. Got better at the end, as you said, but...
There goes an orb straight up in the air from Jordation, perhaps to deal with any early Pharahs. And of course that information is now given over to Order, but they've done well. They've gotten straight onto the point here, which is going to make it a little bit more difficult for Mindfreak to get free shots in, particularly with this Pharah, but obviously Kiki will still be able to work the angles.
Addy picks off Sign super early in the fight. That's disastrous for Order. They're not going to be able to build this EMP. The stun comes out onto August, so it's a big trade, but now Order is split, and you don't want to be like that when you're playing the Goats.
No, definitely not. Bast making short work of Quartz with the Wrecking Ball, and Kiki's having a pretty good time charging up his barrage, although quickly gets dispatched of as he dives straight onto the point trying to contest. It's actually Order that capped the point out, so for all the good work that Mindfreak have done in this point, I think they've kind of let it slip a little bit.
Yeah, they have, and they're not building this ult up fast enough. Kiki kind of suicided on the point to try and contest, but it didn't work out. August has taken Signed out in the Sombra 1v1, so that's going to be interesting to see if that's the theme of the day. But Mindfreak are now wrestling control with this nano boost onto Kiki. What can he get done? He does take out Yuki, and this point is looking like it's going to tick over.
Yeah, going to slap the boy Hunter as well. Good work from Kiki. 30%, just about capped up by Order. It's not a huge margin really just yet. Mindfreak will be pretty happy to cap it back so quickly. I think you're seeing a lot of emphasis coming on to Addy and August. Both of those two players finding a lot of picks though so far. If they can keep that up, it's going to be a good round for Mindfreak.
Yeah, Addy and Aki are controlling this little high ground well. There's beautiful lines of sight over the point, and it opens up Aki to throw nades into the point. And if Adam isn't quick on that defense matrix, that can be disastrous.
Now here comes the dive straight in with Signed, obviously situating himself there on the Sombra. Has to translocate out because Kiki's putting the pressure on, and now Rocket Barrage is thrown in, so is the EMP, which somehow didn't seem to connect onto Adam, or at least he got the defense matrix up enough to keep that Rocket Barrage from doing too much damage. Order haven't really suffered too many losses just yet, and they'll now throw their own EMP in, but Addy is totally uncontested and able to put some good work in. Kiki able to also find the kill onto Adam, who gets the death from beyond the grave, really it feels like, after self-destruct was thrown in there as well. It just doesn't seem as though Order is winning this fight cleanly enough. Bust tagged down quite a lot, but still able to contest the point, and for now that's all well and good for Mindfreak.
Yeah, Addy going completely unchecked in these fights. He gets the double headshot on Signed, takes him out straight after, and he's just being uncontested. Klotz comes back and tries to contest him, but as soon as he uses that leap, Addy just grapples back to safety, and he's got a new sight line, and it becomes harder and harder for the Order guys to manage. They really need Signed to step up here. He's had a quiet round, his EMP didn't amount to much, and now it's getting into desperate times.
Signed is looking to, again, try and cause some problems for Aki, but I just don't feel like that's really going to happen at this point. Addy's got great sight lines, and again, Quads just dives straight in. Addy with a headshot midair, gets Jordation as well. He is absolutely popping off. He's totally destroying Order. It feels like almost single-handedly. Obviously, there's a lot more going on to that. Aki, of course, must be noted as he finds the frag onto Signed. But when all's said and done, I mean, Addy has just had a stellar performance here on the Widowmaker. Not to mention the rest of the Mindfreak players. Too many threats for Order to deal with, it feels like. And seems as though the first round here on Ilios is going to be a loss for Order. Rocket Barrage in for good measure. Should be the overtime ticking away.
Signed with the last minute Widow pick, maybe showing a bit of frustration there, showing that, hey, I can play Widow too, team, let me go.
Yeah,
but
maybe it came to, yeah, like, I feel like that could have come a little bit earlier from Order.
As soon as the point was captured by Mindfreak, though, Order didn't look like taking the point back. Quatz didn't get his Primal Rage off, he wasn't really able to contest that Widow. Addy made he took full advantage of that. You know, he really just opened up the sight lines and just, you know, mowed everyone down. And that's what you like to see from your Widowmaker players, your star players. And Addy is one of these players that's been in the scene a very long time. He wasn't really prevalent during the Widow meta because he didn't really play that much, but now he's back, and if Widow becomes meta, this Mindfreak team gets even scarier than they already are.
Well, not perhaps on this particular round. We go to Ruins, and it does appear to be Sombra Goats out on both sides. A bit of a shift up, really, from Order. Obviously, you've got the Moira, you've got the Winston there, and for Mindfreak, it's the Reinhardt and the Ana.
Yeah, I think Order have just read this incorrectly, and they'll go back and swap as soon as they found out what they're up against, they go and swap. Signed goes onto the Zarya himself, and Jordation should swap onto the Zenyatta too once he gets back to spawn.
Well, it should be a bit more of a familiar matchup for Order. It's essentially exactly what they played almost the entire grand final against Sydney Drop Bears, was standard 3-3 for themselves up against the Sombra Goats. And it worked out quite nicely for them.
They'll feel a lot more comfortable on this. They do have to give up the point cap just because they have to go swap. So, you know, we're going to bleed some percentage out here from Mindfreak. And Jordation's already up to like 40% on that Zenyatta ult. He's been getting some big damage off.
Yeah, got a couple of binks in there with the headshots. And August will go down early on in the piece. Quad somehow managing to get on top of the Sombra, which is not ideal at all. Busts under a bit of pressure. Does get the external bubble from his Xayah and able to use that to push a little bit further forward. They're just going to try and continue to contest this point as long as possible, Mindfreak, but it's quite evident that the point is already lost. So Swilko will just get there a little too late to get the touch. 28% for Mindfreak. Not a great start.
That's a bit of a major mistake out of August there. I mean, as the Sombra player, you kind of want your team to play slowly so you can build up that EMP, and you want that EMP to be really the first ultimate in the fight. And it looks like he's a bit far behind. As
How did that happen?
Goes and feeds actually to Aki, so he probably just stayed a bit too long. Maybe didn't have the support there that he needed. Quats was busy jumping up on the high ground. Shouldn't be up there, mate. You need to be helping little Dale Tang.
Well, it seemed like Sign was jumping up on the high ground as well.
He might have hurt himself too much with those right clicks trying to get up there.
That's what I was thinking. Anyway, Boss has an Earth Shatter now, and they are also pushing onto the point, Mindfreak. So this is going to be a tough one for Order. Shatter goes down, and what a shatter it is! Great work from Bust, and he's going to reap the rewards from that as well. 2 kills for himself, a third onto Adam. Well, I mean, what are you going to do, right? When the shatter goes through, I wonder if there was a boop in there from Kiki or from Swilko.
I think there definitely was a bash there from Kiki, but you can't rustle the bustle as he gets a big shatter there. It was huge.
And August has now got himself EMP, so this is just going to be able to snowball further and further for Mindfreak, assuming they execute correctly, and they do. Straight onto Jordation. August is going to get that pick. The rest of the follow-up is there. Kiki trying to charge that rally back on up after investing it in the previous fight. Bust also up to 57%. That's a good one for Mindfreak. And they're up now past 50%.
Last 2 fights have been really perfectly executed by Mindfreak. You know, they've got the bash shatter into, you know, a team wipe, and then straight EMP into a team wipe while Kiki goes wild in the back line. So he's building up his rally again. Order, this is a fight they desperately need to win, and they need to be careful of overspending ults too. They can't spend everything in this fight.
Yeah, you start to get the sense that Order's economy is getting a bit better than Mindfreak's, but with the first investment coming from Addy, the Graviton Surge, perhaps enough to cause some damage, although it seems the Transcendence will be able to hold off Mindfreak for now. A Shatter's going to go down, Bust blocks it, and now the self-destruct across. Everything's being thrown in from Order, and only now have they found any real success out of their ultimate usage. Bust is going to fall surely, but actually manages to escape away with his life. It's not the clean, solid team fight win that Order would have wanted. That does cost them a lot of ultimates, but at the very least, it is a team fight win.
Yeah, props to Hunter there for holding onto his beat drop. It can be quite nerve-wracking when you get these ults out and you don't capitalize. You know, you really do want to drop that beat and just go hard, but he manages to save it, and that's going to be instrumental in this last fight. If Bust gets a big shadow, the beat needs to be there to counter it.
And even if the beat is there, is it going to be enough to counter it? EMP surely up soon. Graviton Surge is going to be up soon as well for Mindfreak. It almost seems like an unlosable fight unless they lose someone early, but the Shatter is going to cancel any thoughts of that. Another good one from Bust. And of course, with the shield dash in there from Kiki as well. This is too much for Order to deal with. They have to fall away. Mindfreak's up to 91%. There may be time now for Order to get at least one more contest, but it's not going to be a good one. And it means Kots has to swap over onto the Wrecking Ball. Graviton Surge from Addy finishes off Sign and Hunter. And, well, there is an overtime contest, but really, what are you going to do at this point?
An absolute disaster from Order there. Hunter doesn't get the beat drop off to counter that big shatter from Bust. The second one we've seen this round. Really round-winning stuff. And you can see as they clean up the point, the Transcendence comes out, but it's not enough because the anti is there. Sign popping heads, but I don't know if it will be enough. The point contest is running out with Jordation the last one on the point. He'll go down, and that will signal the end of the round.
I was just thinking, man, if Sign would have hit that second shot onto Xayah, killed 2 players straight up there, might have been able to turn the fight around, but it's Mindfreak that win the first map, and cleanly as well. Ilios, to be fair, like, it wasn't 100% to 0%, but by and large, both of those rounds, there was like maybe only one fight that was won by Order.
Yeah, it was only 2 fights won by Order in total. Well, not even that. Actually, they didn't win a fight on Lighthouse. They captured the point first, and then they just fell apart from there. And on Ruins, they won 1 fight, but they just fell apart again. Unta, unfortunately, not getting to use that sound barrier on Ruins. He held it for the Shatter, and then when the Shatter came, he wasn't in position to use it. The 1 beat drop per round that you usually get as Lucio on Koth, and he wastes it. You hate to see that, but, you know, Mindfreak really rotating their ultimates well, and as well as Addy popping off on the first map, you know, it's really promising signs at the start of this series from Mindfreak.
I wonder if old mate Unta's going to put that Smash quote in his quotes montage. Probably not. But it's a little unfortunate for Order to lose that first map. I mean, traditionally, that map type, Control has actually been their best map type this season. They've got 60% win rate on it. Well, I guess not anymore. It's probably more like 50% now. But the rest, you're looking at 50%, 25-25. So it's not looking too great for Order even immediately after starting off that way. But still plenty of time to come back into this series. Obviously, Control sometimes can be over really before it starts, it feels like. But it kind of seems like the pieces of the puzzle are all there for Mindfreak. We've got a win there with the DPS composition. Kiki seemed to be good on Pharah. Addy certainly was hitting great shots on Widowmaker when that was available. No concerns from August. Kiki again with the Brigitte, able to get some great shield bashes through. The work being done by Bus, obviously, with the Earthshatters as well. And, you don't really notice Wilco and Aki in situations like that, which is kind of what you want. You don't really want to notice the supports, because I feel like if you're noticing them, it's because they're kind of messing up. And that wasn't really the case for me for Mindfreak. So it seems like just sort of across the board, you got it on DPS, you've got it on Sombra Goats, you kind of got it really on everything that you're going to really see Mindfreak running for the rest of this series. So that's a bit of a wake-up call maybe for Order. It's like, okay, well, we've tried to fight against the DPS with the Sombra Goats. We've tried the Sombra Goats against a standard Goats kind of a setup, and neither have worked. So do we continue to go with this Sombra Goats, or do we change things up?
Look, if I was involved with Order, which I'm not anymore, put the Sombra Goats in the bin. Chuck it out. Get the hog out. Let's try something different.
Hog out for the boys?
Hog out for the boys.
A bit of a Vaping fan?
A big Vaping fan, actually. They have some really good Roadhog players too. Yuki and Sign, very good at Roadhog. Run the quad tank, run into him, fight him.
All right.
Show your talent.
All right, let's go, Smash. I reckon you should jump back to Order. We'll get Ben back on the desk. You can sort him out. And then next season, we'll bring you back. And hopefully they'll be able to manage without Mum.
Probably not, though. Probably not. Let's be real. It's already a proven track record. They can't manage without me, but that's
have they won one series so far? No, two series this season.
Nah, they're fine. But no, seriously, they're going to bounce back. Okay. They are a classy unit. Despite, they've got 3-time champions, Jordation and Quats on there now. They've won 3 contender seasons, so I'm expecting to come back soon. But Mindfreak have been really impressive. Kiki on the Brig, he's a player that's been known to play just Diva pretty much for the last 3 years.
Yep.
Since release, he just played Diva. Even when Zarya was meta, they put him on other stuff because they had better Zarya players on the team. So to see him move over to the Brig role, and honestly, he's looked the best out of anyone in this season of Contenders on that Brig. And that's a big props to Kiki there.
Certainly high praise from the boy Smash. Well, what do you reckon about Volskaya then? We have obviously got a bit of information as to how this has gone, and so far already a loss has been pulled up by Order on Volskaya and a win for Mindfreak. Now, it is only one match of data to look at, so it's not a huge amount that you can really draw from, but even still.
I think that loss on Volskaya for Order was versus the Drop Bears in week 1, maybe? And that's a pretty weak opponent to lose to on this map. I mean, we've seen the Drop Bears haven't been in form at all this season, so...
It's been a long time since we saw Volskaya.
Yeah, could be worrying signs for Order. This map is something that they have practiced a lot in the past. It's been in the map pool for a long time, so hopefully some, experience on the map helps them out, but I've also seen some shocking things on this map from them, so, I actually think Mindfreak might take this one.
And then at that point, then they're 2-0 up going into half-time.
And it's reverse sweep time, Channel a bit of energy from their friend Color Hex at Boston. He does a reverse sweep every now and then, so got to get some tips out from him. But it looks... Okay, so it looks like they're just going to run the standard defense comp. The Goats with the Ana, with the Winston. This comp is like the most versatile composition, I guess. It deals with DPS well, it deals with the 3-3 well, it deals with the Sombra well. So they're kind of covering all bases, so I like to see that.
I like to see Bust on McCree, but unfortunately we are not going to get that.
But it looks like we are going to get Kiki on the Pharah, and the 3 DPS is coming back out. Bust on the ball too, a hero that he does like to play in matchmaking a lot. When that hero first came out, he was an absolute menace in the queues.
Who's swapping to healer here?
I think Aki will swap to healer, surely he doesn't get the road.
Oh, yep.
Okay, so they are just going to swap to that 3-3 composition then. Oh, they're running a Sombra.
Just sort of looked like running out of the gates they were searching for a pick there, because you had the Widow, you have the Roadhog, you got everything that you kind of could need, but...
I think they were looking for that scouting Sombra on the side of Order, but Order not going to be running that this time around.
Bus gets the shield up nice and high, so that everyone from Mindfreak can cross quite safely. Look at that, really very little damage taken. Quats is up to 37%, it will be said. The Tesla Cannon doing some decent work of charging Primal Rage.
Yeah, and the reason why Bus is holding his shield up in that angle up in the air is really to block that Ana nade, really give Jordation limited angles to get that through, because that's the thing that's going to win the first fight. If they land a big Arnonade, it becomes really difficult for the side of Mindfreak to rotate around into the position they are right now. And this is where they want to be, right on the point. Force order to come to you. They're not playing the Reinhardt, but a big anti-nade comes through with the bubbles out there.
Really, not quite as big as you might have thought, because August very quickly gets that external bubble from Addy, and there's no purple players for Mindfreak. There's one dead player for Order, unfortunately. Now another nade's going to go on through, but again, doesn't really connect where it needs to, and the bio nades are unfortunately not having the impact to about 50% here for Mindfreak, as Quats finally gets that Primal Rage out, and this is where you're going to see
Quaddy.
the problems arise for Mindfreak. 2 players get booped off. Very nicely done. You always see good performances from Quats when he's got that Primal Rage out, but even still, that's 1 tick for Mindfreak, so it's not without a loss for Order. Yeah,
like Tyson in his prime, left, right, good night, sends him off the map into the drink, and it's very chilly down there, so that's good stuff from Little Quaddy. We've seen him on this map in the first week. He got to play the game on the Winston. So he's showing his primal mechanics again, flexing him a bit.
It's going to be a little more difficult for him this time if he does get Primal Rage up again, because you're going to have a little bit more counterplay there for Mindfreak with the Graviton Surge. Shadow might be up close to it as well.
They've got the ults though, Order. They need to get this Graviton Surge off and get Quats in a position to be doing damage into it. That will get him a Primal Rage again, and then you can see more people going in for a dip.
Well, there's Graviton Surge early, and that one from Addy has gone absolutely nowhere. That said, Kiki's able to eat sign, so maybe it's a fair and square situation, as both Zayas are going to be left wanting just a little bit. You can see Kiki having a nap right now, a nice sleep dart through from Jordation, and now Transcendence across from Aki as everyone piles in onto the point. There's nothing really opening up just yet for either team, but still Mindfreak is getting ticks onto the point. We're up to about 90%. Another Bionade comes through from Jordation. Swuko is low, but Bust is the one that at the moment is doing the damage, and even despite the fact that there is a Primal Rage through now for Quads, it seems unlikely that Mindfreak lose from here.
Yeah, they're just chewing time off the clock. It's not going to come to anything, and that Grav Eat from Kiki really sets it all up. Aki can save the Transcendence there, and then they can push aggressively on and punish Sign when he gets off the high ground. Very, very well played there from Kiki. Again, he's really showing to be the star in this matchup, that veteran experience.
Really seemed to bail Addy out a little bit as well.
Yeah, you love to see it go 1-for-1 on the Graviton Surges and catches 0 players.
Yeah.
There's 12 players on the map, you get none from 2 Gravitons.
Smash Overwatch would have done better.
Definitely in my prime, would have caught at least 17.
At least. Alright, well, let's see how many Bust can catch with his Earth Shatter. There's not really much on the board for Order right now, and it doesn't seem like there's going to be much for a little while. Bust gets a Shatter through, but it's not really going to cause any damage. Still, Quats is going to fall after blocking it. Not sure that that's too comfortable for Order of a situation that they would want to be in. Now Grav goes out, and this time Addy able to lock up a couple, both of whom are going to fall. That was Unter and Sign, and 2 ticks already capped here by Mindfreak. The contest comes through from Order with Quats and Adam getting there, finally managing to cause some damage, but have they gotten enough done? Forced away Yuki by Bus. I think for now, maybe Order have just salvaged the fight enough.
Yeah, it's becoming harder and harder to get Order off this point as more players trickle in. Signed on the Doomfist is going to go down in the backline. He overcommits, but Adam's Diva Bomb manages to trade, and Bus is the bigger kill at this point in time.
Yep.
They've managed to stabilize, and Mindfreak, they're tail in between their legs, they're running away.
I don't know how disappointed you would be really though as Mindfreak there. 86%. Obviously not quite fully capped out, but even if you get held for the next 3.5 minutes, it's something defendable. And to be fair, how difficult is it going to be for Order to hold for another 3.5 minutes when they've only got 33% really to play with? Yeah,
they reset a lot of ultimates there, Quads and Sign, both swapping onto stall heroes, and now they're very behind on ultimates. Mindfreak coming up on a lot of them too. This beat from Hunter needs to be big value. Needs to be a lot better than that Lighthouse one, that's for sure.
Talked about it on Ilios, didn't you? So we shall see. Mindfreak going to work their angle around to the left this time. Come through from the low ground, and quickly the explosion out from Bus as he charges forward with the external bubble. Sound barrier does go down from Unter, but where's the value going to come from here? There's an answering one across as well. Shadow's not really going to connect onto much again here from Bus, but oh, he's off the map. Who would have thunk it? It happens on Volskaya every single time, and Mindfreak, they do lose a player, but they've found quite a few more of their own. Order really suffering the losses, and again, we're going to see them swapping over onto those stall heroes. Quats, Wrecking Ball to try and buy as much time as possible, but is it really in that sense, possible here for Order to come back from a deficit like this.
I don't think so. Quats is going to try and stall it out. Jordation with the Transcendence comes in a day late and $1 short. He's left alone on the point, and Sign flying in on the Doomfist is going to be punished, I believe. Manages to spy some time, but not a lot else. If they manage to survive this Atom Bomb, which they do, that should be an easy cleanup.
Well, you say easy. Bust is quite low, needs the heals, and he's getting focused on down. Now the same can be said for Quants, but Kiki also drops low. I think he just almost got cancelled out of that self-destruct, but does get it across, and it actually catches Untar. That's even better than you might have hoped for from him. It normally is just to provide some space again. Signed is in onto the point. This is a very prolonged overtime that's going to be taking its while. Graviton Surge finally through from Addy, and perhaps that is the nail in the coffin for Order, as Signed will be finished off. Then again, Hunter and Adam, they're still alive.
Yeah, they are, and here comes Quads back in again. Jordation with another Transcendence. He's flying in from the side, doesn't get knocked off the map, but he gets knocked off the point, and that's enough for Mindfreak to go through and cap. And
well, that was a bit of a mission, wasn't it?
yeah, well, they were chasing around everywhere. They were chasing Quats off the point, trying to shoo him away. They were trying to chase Signed in the back line. Order did a really good job of, spreading the Mindfreak team out and really making them commit to different targets. And once you start committing to different targets, the point suddenly becomes defendable for the defenders because they're able to spew back in. Aki died with his Transcendence at 99. Adam runs in and punches him in the face, knocks him out, and that could have been messy, but they managed to close it out. I think the point that was Addy just lived forever. It felt like he threw 3 or 4 Graviton Surges in that overtime fight.
It did take a while, didn't it? So plenty of time to charge them up. Well, look. Been
at 21. You'll be disappointed if you're a Mindfreak.
I think so, yeah. They probably could have done it a little bit quicker, but even then, to be able to cap out Volsky with a bit of time available is not too bad of a result, especially given the way that Order have looked throughout this season. I think for Mindfreak, that almost feels like enough. But we have to see how they go on their defense here.
Well, it means they're guaranteed a second chance, to go through it. And they've scouted their Order composition now, so they might come out and have something to deal with on the second attack.
Really looking for
pressure the higher grounds, I reckon.
Yeah, when is that explosion going to come from Order,
Oh, I've been waiting as long as you, mate.
Yeah, probably longer, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. Well,
since
really? Shangers.
Yeah, Shanghai.
Yep.
Shangers, huh?
Yep, Shangers. Speaking of Shangers, Shanghai Dragons doing very well in the game versus Vancouver today.
Yeah.
Before we went live. That's where I sit in there.
Yeah, that's your battle station.
Yeah, my battle station. Definitely.
The picnic chair, trestle table setup at
we don't talk about that. So it is going to be a bunker comp from the side of Mindfreak. We already saw Addy pop off on this Widowmaker before, and Order trying the DPS composition. Adam on the Sombra, Signed on the Hanzo, Yuki on the Pharah.
First time for everything.
Signed now, swapping to the Widow. I like this. Give me some Signed Widow. He's been an absolute monster on that hero for years.
I want to see how he is going to match up against Addy, who probably has a couple more threats to deal with, really, than Signed does. He's looking at the Pharah and the Widow, whereas Signed really only at the moment has to focus on trying to get that pick onto Addy, and then he can work the rest of the angles. Bots is dead.
Bots go off the map. Have a reset. Quick reset, boys.
Well, Signed is still hanging around, giving it a crack. Suppose if he does get the pick onto Addy, that'll be nice, though it'll really just result in a res coming across from Swuko.
Getting penned in here, this is scary stuff, but Adam manages to take out Addy, so while the team was pushing aggressively to... Swuko gets a body shot too, he goes down, that's 2 players down already on the side of Mindfreak. Bit of over-aggression there, trying to chase the staggers, but they don't get them and they get punished.
Yeah, this is going to start to be a real problem now for Mindfreak. The ice block is employed by August. Again, just to buy a little bit more time here. The whole hook combo doesn't really result in the kill for Aki, and he himself will fall. So now Yuki really unimpeded up in the high ground now that obviously Addy really out of the picture, and the hook even as well out of the picture, able to get down low and do a lot of damage. That's a pretty quick cap time from Order.
Yeah, disastrous mistake there from Swilko and Addy. Swilko goes to help with the front line, chase those stagger kills, and Adam just cleans up Addy. Swilko goes back to get the res on the boy, but he takes some body shots and goes down. That's not what you want to see out of your Mercy and your Widow players. They get picked apart by Order, and now it'll be interesting to see if they swap off the Widowmaker and the Pharah, which can be harder to play on this second point. Looks like they'll try and go and snowball through, though.
I don't think we're going to see much of a change from Mindfreak, to be honest. With Blizzard being up so quickly.
Kiki has that molten core too. Hunter gets hooked by Addy. I mean, not Addy, Aki. And Addy gets the dual verse sign. So that's a bit of a disaster in itself. Getting hooked as the Mercy player, you don't want that.
No.
Never.
I Is this the time where Order can just say, okay, well, we've lost a couple of players, we don't really have that snowball momentum anymore, can swap off.
The old matchmaking mentality of let's just go goats, guys. Just go goats.
Doesn't look like it, though, for Order.
No, it doesn't. They have a lot of ultimates. They'll want to use these. They'll get baited into staying on that composition for a long time and using them as Unter catches another L on the Mercy hero. As
Did you see that translocator just go off the edge?
yeah, not the most experienced on throwing that translocator out. The ultimate frisbee. Addy has taken out Yuki in the meantime, so this is going to be really difficult for Order to get through here and break this hold. I mean, they're holding very far forward on the side of Mindfreak, and Order don't have the best means to get around them. They don't have the best ways to stop them. It might have to be using the EMP this early to get the picks.
Yeah, with that said, there's still a lot of time for Order, and all it takes is the one pick. It's Adam to get August. 5 is across. Now sounds like some mines go on through from Quats. Seem to have the hugest amount of an impact just yet, but here comes EMP, and that's going to lock up 3 players. Blizzard out of the picture, but actually does at least get thrown in from August. They're going to result in too much. Adam will drop. This is looking like a good clean wipe, exactly what Order would have wanted, but do the respawns come across in time here for Mindfreak to recontest? It doesn't seem like they will. In fact, no one gets to the point, and all of a sudden, Order are going to go through to the time bank with a huge advantage.
Young Adam getting the first pick on both the first point and the second point. A massive mistake out of August. He gets manually hacked by Adam and then 100 to 0'd, so he wasn't able to prevent the manual hack with the left click or, the right click, and he wasn't able to win the 1v1 duel, and that means his whole team peels back from that advantage position on the high ground all the way back, and that's not what you want to be doing if you're a bunker comp. You don't want to be rotating around too much. You want to be sitting there and dealing the damage, and that lets Order in. And once they're in, they're showing off. Fire Barrage, the EMP, it all came out.
It was looking so good for Mindfreak as well, but all it takes, is that one little slip up against a team like Order.
Yeah, they just fell apart at the seams as soon as August got picked off or August was pressured. They all fell back, and that's go time for Order when that happens. The setup isn't there to stop them from getting in, and that's where the weakness comes out.
I suppose right now as Mindfreak, you're probably looking for a draw as your best case scenario. Unless they have an absolutely blistering cap time here and cap out both points.
It's 2 CP, 2 capture point. It could happen. Anything can happen on these maps. They could full cap this map off this. Just one good snowball and they full cap. But
or they could get full held for a minute 20.
They definitely could. If Order showed to be, pretty decent on that first defense. So just if that grab hit from side, they could have full held themselves. So you never know. The rotation of ults look to be good, and Quats' primals have been on point, except for on Ilios. But we don't talk about Ilios yet.
Well, same situation for Mindfreak as it was on their initial offense.
And he gets the poop on Aki, and Aki's all alone. Every resource committed to try and help the man out, and he does make it through.
Jeez, talk about making a gauntlet run there for Aki.
Oh, and they've tried to punish Quats here.
They might just be able to. He goes down to about 100 HP. The final blow doesn't actually come across, and now that puts Mindfreak in a pretty awful position. The aid was thrown in from Jordation, so Kiki and Swilko both went low, but they've been healed back on up, and straight away we're onto the point for Mindfreak. So equilibrium has been restored. Plus, however, with only 200 points to his shield, isn't really going to be able to hold that up for too long. Has to put it down, has to buy some time.
Yeah, Sign giving out a lot of pressure. Now the Nano Boost comes onto Quats. He's going to go buck wild with that Primal Rage as soon as it comes up. No, he's holding it. So it looks like Order have the advantage in this fight after taking out Addy, the main damage dealer on the side of Mindfreak. There's only 15 seconds left to go. Mindfreak need to commit to this fight, but they're coming up against a mountain of ultimates.
They needed to commit or they needed to reset. Neither eventually happened for Mindfreak, and now they're in the worst possible position, running into a Primal Rage. They don't have any time to even reset here. It's going to be a full hold from Order, surely. August Aki all down. Kiki's lost his mech, and in the Baby Diva form, not going to be able to do anything against a Winston.
The Dacian doing the deeps on the Ana too, getting a few kills there. He like that. He likes to get the kills. Very bloodthirsty support, that young man. Order manages to hold them out. And that's just... They dealt with the rotations really well. Mindfreak had that cute rotation of pouncing on top of Quats as soon as he went to contest the window there to build that ult charge. So he would have been expecting to build that for free with no aggression. But all of a sudden, all the boys drop out the window and final onto him. But his leap comes up just in time to get out. If he goes down there, the point capture and then the snowball is on.
Well, now the game is on. It feels like we should go into the halftime break at one apiece from here. How you're going to hold for 4.5 minutes with Not even a single tick for Mindfreak.
Well, if they run that bunker comp, Addy's going to need to carry them because that's really the only win condition they'll have is those pickoffs. But they have shown a weakness on that bunker comp already of being split apart and poor decision making really is what's cost them both times. The decision to peel back and help August, who lost the 1v1, and the decision to push forward on the first point and try and catch some stagger kills left Addy vulnerable and lost another 1v1 to Adam. So young Adam showing his mechanics off, getting the 1v1s. It's a beautiful portrait of Zarya, isn't it?
Yeah.
They need one of those of you in the CBD, I reckon.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I was thinking about the exact same thing, but for you, Smash.
Oh, no, mate. I'm not from Sydney, you know? I only just came here.
Get the perfect rendition of Smash, right down to the hair on your chinny chin chin.
Yeah, well, they make me shave that off, mate. It looks like bum fluff. I hate it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In all its glory, up on the big screen.
Yeah, we could arrange it for MEO, maybe. Central Station. Light it up. Flinders Street.
Somewhere in Melbourne.
Have to get onto the
All
big
those
bosses about that. As we see the bunker comp come in and signed on the Widow, looking for a few picks on the grapple, getting the right angles to try and find a sleepy man. Yuki's been hooked out of the air. I think that was a hold hook out of the air, and that's a combination that's pretty hard to pull off versus the Pharah.
Like in that situation as well, it's probably pretty hard to dodge as far up. If it's executed correctly, that's a nice one from Busanaki.
They've been comboing well on this hold hook. They managed to pick off Unta once as well.
The backy.
Yeah, the backy combo.
Well, in the backy combo.
Backy.
Or Busaki.
Definitely prefer backy. Rolls off the tongue much better.
You're just a hater.
That is true. Filled with hate and rage. Especially if Order don't manage to get their skates on and start doing something.
Yeah, Adam has to get out of there. Doesn't go too far.
No. And they're really just waiting for an opportunity to, get into position where they can, pincer this bunker comp, stop the setup, but oh, that was a close one too, but they're not managing to move forward very, very quickly, and as Jordation throws a nade straight into his shield.
Yeah, we've already seen a minute and a half go off of the clock, and there's not really been any dangerous situations for Mindfreak. There's another one. Yuki is just being absolutely destroyed by this hold hook combo.
They are just getting pulled apart.
Oof, that's a risky one to take.
Definitely is, but he'll favour himself. He's been hot today, Addy, so he'll favour himself in these Widow duels, I reckon. Jordation gets hulked now. Yeah. Everyone's just getting picked apart by this Roadhog, and it's not something they have played against in a very long time, so Hunter goes down again.
Smash in the face with the big old hook.
You do not like to see that. Kiki gets the hammer kill on Sign. He will love that too. That's a big motivation booster there.
Is this where a bit of tilt starts to creep in maybe for Order?
Yeah, definitely. Getting Kiki to run up at you and hammer you, you'd feel rubbish about that.
I'm still not sold on it just yet from Mindfreak. You've got 2 minutes. Like, it's been great so far, don't get me wrong, but
the EMP is coming up, the barrage is coming up. This is going to be the fight that they need to win. Otherwise, it's going to be very, very difficult.
All it takes is that one fight. We're looking for the hold hook combo again. Aki just smashes his hook straight into the wall. That's not what it needs to hit. 87% for Adam.
As Quats goes down, he gets frozen by August May, who now has his ult too.
Oh,
so
right at the perfect time too.
Yeah, it really is the perfect time to stop that push. Now 1 minute 27 on the clock. Order are going to start sweating. They're going to start getting antsy. They want to use these ultimates.
They're still going to have time to use them. Just need to keep seeing those picks come across from Mindfreak. Here's another hold hook.
Manages to survive.
Yuki goes very low, but does actually finish off Kiki's turret. And now finally the opener comes for Order. Is this going to be the time where things fall apart? Well, Adam's got himself an EMP. The Valkyrie's in there onto Smuko, but Sign is going to connect a shot, and now it is all for naught. All the hard work that Mindfreak did seems to be falling away.
Dale Tang popping off too. He gets 5 in the fight, I believe. All it took was to get the Boy Wonder into position, and he just takes the heads off very cleanly. Takes Addy's head off, puts Swilko in a really difficult position. Swilko then needs to decide if he's going to go in for that res. Adam's already in a perfect position to stop it. Yeah. Perfect execution from Order after 4 minutes of mucking around.
And that is the difference between Order being able to trickle onto point B for such a long time. It felt like a minute and a half where they were able to really hold the point when you kind of looked at Mindfreak and said, well, they're winning this fight, but they're just not winning it fast enough. And for Order to be able to just steamroll through point B when they're on their own attacking side, you know? You give Mindfreak another minute and a half on their own attack on that time bank, and I reckon they get through point A and then got a really good game on their hands. But having to hold for 4.5 minutes, even not even a single tick. Not that any ticks I think would have really helped them there. Even a whole cap would have probably still got in the way of Order, and then we would have been into point B. But yeah, it's just that little bit of the extra time advantage that Order gave themselves coming through from the regulation time. And unfortunately for Mindfreak guys, it just was not quite a strong enough hold. Once the ults come up, what are you going to do, really?
I think they made the best out of a bad situation, though. You know, they did hold for a very long time. Maybe some ill discipline from Order. They're just repeatedly getting hook comboed, and that's something that they're going to need to prepare against because it's coming. The Orisa meta, it's coming. The hero just keeps receiving buffs. Hog keeps receiving buffs, so eventually players are going to be playing it. So Order need to show a lot better discipline in their pathing and the way they're dealing with this Roadhog Orisa combo, because it could be something that really greets them at the end of this map on Havana. Or end of this series, I should say.
Yeah. Perhaps we'll see more of Signed on the Widowmaker in the coming couple of maps, because it seems to have been, well, what opened up at least point A both times on Volskaya.
Definitely. He had a massive second offense. As soon as he got into the position to take the shot, he clicked 5 heads or 4 heads there. It was lovely to see. Turning back the clock all the way back to MEO last year.
Yeah, well, perhaps he probably doesn't want to turn it all the way back to MEO last year. Things were not so ideal for... Was he even playing it?
Yeah, he was. He definitely was. He definitely was, and he enjoyed that trip a lot, actually. It was probably his favourite LAN.
Really?
Yeah, he had a beautiful time at MEO.
Even despite the...
Yep, the whole team had a great time despite the disastrous result.
Okay. That's news to me.
Oh, yeah, they loved it.
Alright, well, that's good to hear, I suppose, even if you're getting smashed on stage by Darksided at the 11th hour. And
I mean, you're playing in front of a big crowd.
Your dreams ripped away from you and absolutely pummeled into the ground.
Yeah, but I mean, a few good things came out of that trip.
Am I laying it on a bit thick, maybe? Who
No,
knows?
definitely not.
Definitely not. All right, well, obviously, time for us to take a quick break, guys. We've got half time, so we need to take a little bit of a breather, let everyone settle down. It's one apiece between Order and Mindfreak. We'll be back soon.